Do you ever wonder if there's something more to life beyond the daily routine and obligations? Maybe you've felt an emptiness even when surrounded by people, or perhaps something has changed inside you that you just can't ignore anymore. If any of these questions resonate with you, know that you are not alone. Spiritual awakening is a deeply personal journey, but also a universal one. This journey can be compared to the growth of a tree. At first, it's just a seed, hidden and inactive beneath the soil. But as it receives light and nourishment, it begins to grow and transform into something grand and majestic. In the same way, spiritual awakening is a journey of growth, transformation, and flourishing. Today, I will guide you through the 5 stages of this awakening, helping you recognize where you are and how to move forward. And remember, this journey is not linear, each stage has its own purpose and beauty. Shall we explore together? Stage 1, Unconsciousness, life on autopilot. Most of us begin life in a state of spiritual unconsciousness. It's as if we're living on autopilot, reacting to the challenges and situations life throws at us without questioning or understanding why things happen. Have you ever felt like life is just happening to you, rather than you being in control? That's the essence of this stage. Here, we are deeply identified with the ego, that part of us that sees itself as separate from others and the world. In this stage, we are driven by impulses and reactive emotions. Maybe you've experienced moments of anger, resentment, or even victimization, feeling like the world is unfair and there's little you can do. Does that sound familiar? Imagine you're driving a car at night, but the headlights are off. You're still moving, but you can't see where you're going. That's what spiritual unconsciousness feels like. You're moving forward without really knowing where you're headed. But here's the good news, this stage is just the beginning. Life on autopilot may feel uncomfortable, but it's also the starting point for something much greater. It's when we begin to notice the discomfort that we're ready for the next step. Stage 2, the ego's collapse. When everything falls apart, we now arrive at the second stage, the collapse of the ego. This can be one of the most challenging moments of the spiritual journey. It's when the things we thought were solid in our lives begin to crumble. Have you ever gone through a crisis so big that everything you believed in or relied on seemed to fall apart? It could be the end of a relationship, losing a job, or even an identity crisis. This is the moment when our old identities and beliefs no longer work. The sense of control that the ego gives us begins to fade. Do you remember the caterpillar that turns into a butterfly? Before it transforms, the caterpillar needs to completely dissolve inside its cocoon. That's what happens here. The old you begins to dissolve. I know this can be scary and often painful, but it's in this collapse that true awakening begins. The beauty of the ego's collapse is that it gives us the chance to rebuild ourselves in a truer, more aligned way. When everything falls apart, new possibilities emerge. The butterfly can't fly without first going through its transformation. In this stage, it's important to practice acceptance. Trying to control what's falling apart only prolongs the suffering. Let go of what needs to go. And if possible, seek support, whether from friends, family, or even a therapist. No one needs to go through this stage alone. Stage 3, the search for meaning, the beginning of exploration after the collapse. Something new arises, the search for meaning. When the old certainties disappear, you begin to look for new answers. Spirituality starts calling you, and you find yourself drawn to books, videos, or practices you had never considered before. Maybe you start meditating or develop an interest in philosophy. At this stage, there is a thirst for knowledge and a desire to rebuild your life on a new foundation. But this time, it's not the ego in charge. You are seeking something deeper, something that resonates with your inner truth. Imagine you're exploring an infinite library filled with books about self-knowledge and spirituality. You open one book after another, searching for the answers that make sense for what you're going through. This is the beginning of your search, and each discovery brings you closer to who you really are. Here, it's helpful to practice self-awareness. Keeping a spiritual journal can be a great way to track your reflections and insights. Additionally, participating in spiritual retreats or study groups can help you connect with others on the same journey. Stage 4. The emergence of the authentic self, rediscovering your true essence over time. As you dive deeper into this search, something incredible happens. Your authentic self begins to emerge. The masks you wore to please others or to protect yourself start to fall away. What's left is your true essence. In this stage, many people begin to make significant changes in their lives. You may feel the urge to leave a job that no longer aligns with your values, or even end a relationship that doesn't support your growth. These decisions are difficult but deeply necessary to live more authentically. Old emotional wounds may also surface at this stage. It may be time to face past traumas or issues you've ignored for a long time. And this is part of the healing process. True freedom comes when we're willing to look at our shadows and allow them to be integrated. A powerful practice in this stage is self-care. Allow yourself to express your true emotions, perhaps through art, music, or writing. Therapy can also be a valuable tool to process the emotions that emerge. This is a time to honor your essence and take care of yourself with love. Stage 5. A life of alignment, living in connection with everything. Finally, we reach the last stage, a life of alignment. Here, you are no longer fighting against yourself or the world. You've learned to live in harmony with your authentic self and the flow of life. Everything seems to flow more naturally, like a river gently running toward the ocean. In this stage, you experience a deep connection with nature, with others, and with yourself. There's a clarity of purpose and an acceptance of life's complexities. This doesn't mean that challenges disappear, but now you face them with more ease, knowing they are part of the journey. You realize that self-love is the foundation of everything. When you love and fully accept yourself, your capacity to love others and live with compassion expands. It's a feeling of being at home, at peace with yourself and the world. To maintain this connection, it's important to cultivate daily practices such as meditation, spending time in nature, and practicing gratitude. These habits help you stay balanced and anchored in your truth. And so, we conclude our journey through the 5 stages of spiritual awakening. Each of these stages has its value and purpose. Remember, this is not a linear journey. Sometimes we revisit certain stages as we grow and evolve. Now, I invite you to reflect. Which stage are you in? And how can you embrace this moment with more love and compassion for yourself? Spiritual awakening is unique for each of us, and there's no rush or right path. What matters is that you keep walking, with an open heart and a mind willing to learn.